gosh, I can't even believe I'm a part of this family sometimes. Oh, the cat's going all the way up to the tree. The baby just stood up on his own. Let's see if he does it again. Hey, you wanna try it again? You wanna stand up? My parents just got back from California. They're all telling her the story of how Rainier just stood up.
Hi, Stevie.
Yeah, Ben was about ready to feed him.
Hi, baby.
You feed him?
How was your trip?
Yeah, good.
Sweet. Like a teenager, probably not fully grown.
Yeah, really little.
Anyway,
skinny.
so that was a story.
But not, I don't think not malnourished.
Yeah, but just skinny.
Yeah.
Sherry never goes. This was parking, but it was, so we had to.
My dad was running around the block for and
We sold that for $9.99 or $10, so 20 cents per
I'm
pound.
surprised you didn't put some in your suitcase.
I know.
My mom's favorite thing to do on vacations is to go to Asian produce places and to compare the prices with how expensive and crappy the prices are here.
Because first of all, they don't have a supply here, and if they have, it's so expensive. I just gave up eating. Like bean sprouts, it's good that Fresh Time finally has bean sprouts, but over there in the big bag, 10 pounds, $5.99 instead of 12 ounce, $2.
Panera last night had pretty bad service. One thing after another was something was wrong. And if it were up to me, maybe I would have complained about one of those things. But my husband, he is not shy about complaining or guilty about complaining about every single thing. So anyways...
I don't know if it's called complaining when you have a whole piece of paper that big in your sandwich.
Yeah.
I just said, hey, it looks like there's a whole piece of paper in my sandwich. I wasn't complaining, I was just saying there's paper in my sandwich.
So anyways, we get to enjoy 2 pastries from Panera this morning, and I'm excited. Me is ani, you male is ata, you female is ot, he is he is who, and she is he. Wrap your mind around that.
We're cramming for our Hebrew lesson.
Ani, ata, ot, who, he. I mean, that helps, because that's what it is. Like, we're, right?
I guess.
Okay. Ani, do this. Ani. Ata. No, actually, point to yourself.
That's English. These are easy. Those are the first 3 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. Are we done? Yesterday at Panera during dinner, I brought up the topic of allowance with the kids because Cammie and I have had some wonder and some concerns wondering if allowance, how we're doing it, is the best way for them. What we do is we give each of our kids $1 a week per year of age they are. So Dove, who's 15, gets $15 a week. And this is money we just give her. There's no chores or work associated with the allowance. We do have chores and work, but we don't tie it in. And the idea was just to provide a place for them to learn about money. Anyways, Dove shared some stuff yesterday with the family.
Turning 13, we get to eat whatever we want. I would buy sometimes 3 days a week I would buy candy and just eat it really fast and a lot. Just while I'm reading, I'll just be eating it constantly. I think I was kind of crazy with that. Well, kind of really crazy with that. So that was a big thing for me to go through. And my dad helped me with this. He said that me and Eden should since we're both over 13, we should try eating candy or sweets. When we buy sweets, we should just eat it together. And that will make it so that we're not eating it alone. And probably we'll eat less because we both have to agree. And I don't exactly know, if there was a stopping point where I was okay, I just completely stopped buying candy 3 days a week or whatever. But I think I just sort of, it wasn't, I would eat it and I wouldn't really, I would kind of feel a little sick and it wouldn't help really. I wasn't thinking in my mind that I was eating it to help me, but I think that's what was happening. So yeah.
Let's go. How much do you think, can you say how much you think you're spending?
I added it up, how much I would be spending a year once, and I forget what it was, but and so I think that kind of helped because it kind of freaked me out a little bit. It's wow, okay.
So there's two things that really excite me about this story. One is that Dove was sharing this openly with the family, and I consider it an incredible gift anytime a child opens their heart to their family, especially their parent. And I would say the second thing is that, we've been wondering, is allowance a waste of money? Because we see the way our kids spend our money. And Dove started off this sharing saying, I don't think you and Mom knew this. And part of it we didn't, but part of it we did. But we've made the decision that allowance is a great opportunity for our kids to learn, and sometimes the only way to learn is by making mistakes. And instead of having them turn into adults and then binge on candy, which is what happened with Cammie and I, we made all those bad decisions when we left our parents' house when we were 18, 19, 20. We want them to learn it under our supervision and care. So I'm actually really excited that at the age of 15, Dove has kind of come to this conclusion that, eating a bunch of sweets on my own isn't going to help. And if that cost her $10 a week times 52, 520 bucks, or even 2 years, $1,040, I would say that is a worthwhile lesson, because a lot of those lessons took me 20 years to learn that certain things wouldn't satisfy me or make me happy. I can't think of a better way to spend $1,000 than for a kid to arrive at that conclusion. And I don't know if there's a shortcut, actually. Yeah.
That's masculine or beautiful. What do you think would be for a girl? Feminine.
Yefta.
Excellent. Feminine.
We're next.
The name created the heavens and the earth. The name, whatever. They won't say Yehovah. Or emails, or keep, if you go.
I just texted Cammie in Hebrew. You got a Hebrew text from me?
Yay.
Freaking cool.
What does it say?
What did you write?
I want to learn how to say like good stuff, you know?
Say shit, but what's it? I just texted you back, non-Hebrew, but a Hebrew word. Look,
Ma.
Good one.
Rachel is writing down a list of Hebrew swear words for...
Only for Ben.
We're saying it's just for me, but really we all know who swears more around here, Ben or Cammy.
Oh,
and it doesn't just have to be like swear words, it could be like borderline like naughty words too.
Okay.
Or you know, like...
Now I would say, well, for Ferris I would always be like, kusemak, which... The literal
Hey, get out.
translation of that...
You're distracting our Hebrew teacher.
Yes,
I can't think right now. It's like really hard to think. You're using parts of your brain you haven't used since you were a toddler. But it's fun. Rachel's a lot of fun and she's a really good teacher. How do you feel, Ben?
I feel good.
Good. Today was a lot easier than last week. One of the highlights was just hearing more of Rachel's story. She lived in Israel, in Palestine, like hidden from government. Look what I got. This lighting. How's that? You notice a difference? Before? After? It's time for Q&A.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Today's Q&A is all about a video that we released, I think 2 days ago. In that video, we shared about our entire, like, all of our finances. Bianca on Facebook says, I was surprised at how uncomfortable this made me. Do you think sharing this information changes the power it has in your life? I imagine so. I haven't noticed a huge change yet, but this stuff is hard for us to talk about also. And I think sharing our information will make it easier for us to talk about these things in the future. A few people, including Doug, are asking to explain more about the gold and silver and guns and what's a good balance for Christians. I think there's a place where we can be completely living for the future, and I don't want to be that. I want to live in the present, and I feel like living a life of faith means trusting God for the future, but also I want to be aware of the future and aware of the present. And there's also a way we can bury our heads in the sand and be like, America, it's safe, it's great. And people that call themselves Christians and be like, oh, we trust God. No, you don't. You trust your credit card and grocery store. Or you just plan on the grocery store being there. That's not trusting in God. So I want to be aware of the reality of the times that we live in and the reality of how people really are. And for us, I think that requires a little bit of preparation. Lon Jim says, is there a difference between a secret and withholding truth? Isn't there some value in not telling everyone on the internet about these details? We are not saying that everyone ought to do this. And I think, yeah, there's a ton of benefits to not telling people. I mean, that's why no one does it, right? I mean, it's privacy. You don't have to worry about being judged in some ways. So I think there's plenty of benefits. But I think there's plenty of people living out those benefits already. You know, most of the people in our lives, we know nothing about their finances. We want to explore the benefits on the other side. We think it's more balanced for people to be exposed to both. Sarah asks why I collected $2 bills. I kind of just liked them, but there was actually a really intentional reason, and it was that whenever you paid with them, it made people kind of pause and reflect and stop and think a little bit. And I kind of like that. Right now, everything, you just swipe it, you don't even think about it. So even if you pay with cash, it changes the way you think about it. Okay, Greer Alex asks, do you have any advice for young couples just starting out? And she wants to know about our financial situation when we got married. When we got married, I was working, making $10 an hour and then minimum wage. Cammie was pregnant within 1 month. And she was going to school. So we were on government assistance and we were broke.
We're eating frozen burritos and eating dinner at our parents'.
We were going to our parents' house to do laundry. You know what, though? I don't miss those days. Reverse what I just said.
I think it's important for a couple to be on the same page with finances.
One of the things I would say, especially for young couples, is don't look at culture to determine what you need. You don't need Netflix. You don't need Starbucks. You don't even need like heating and AC, I don't think. I mean, I'm talking like need. We have so many conveniences in our culture that it's easy to get confused between like what's a necessity and what's a luxury. And I think we all live with a ton of luxury items in our culture. And
That are necessities.
Thinking that they're necessities.
Yeah.
And we've given up so much to do that. We're essentially in slavery, debt-wise, just for these things. And I don't think it's worth it. So I would say start with nothing and add what you really think that you need or what you can afford. Christina Chappelle asks, how long did it take you to make your liabilities zero? What are the top things you did to get them to zero and the time frame? I had kind of a weird situation because we had a ton of cash coming in, way more than we needed to live off of. And because of that, once we made the decision to be debt-free, we just started using all our money to pay off debt. But not everyone's in that situation. But really, the biggest thing that helped us was we started to define what we could afford by what was in our bank account. Not what mortgage companies or credit card companies or other loan companies told us that they were willing to give us. If you have debt, sacrifice almost everything that you can to get out of debt. And if you don't have debt, do not do anything that gets you in debt. And some of you guys are going to say, oh, it's easy for you to say, like, we have a 1-bedroom apartment. Fine. Live in the 1-bedroom apartment. Experience the pain. And let that pain motivate you to save up money to buy a house. Because the second you buy the house, you lose the pain. And you lose the fire, you lose the motivation. You start acting like you're worth $200,000 or a millionaire, and you're not. Daniel Smith asks, can you explain your views on insurance and retirement investments? I might end up making a separate video of this, but let's just get this out of the way. We don't have any insurance that's not mandatory. There's kind of two reasons. One is it's almost always a bad bet. For 99.9% of the people, it's a bad bet. That's why companies are making money off you. Financially, it's not a good decision. Now, the second reason is with insurance, I think it's actually costing us in another area of life. Let's take life insurance, which I had $1 million policy at one time. Now, if I take the money that I was supposed to put into life insurance, if I ask this question, what would happen if I took the same money and I took friends and family out to dinner instead? If I die and Cammie gets like $1 million, all she gets is cash in the first example, if I buy a life insurance policy. And we've learned that cash only goes so far. You can't make friends with cash. You can't meet God closer with cash. You can't experience more care, more intimacy with cash. I think insurance kind of sells us short. You know, it just offers money and more safety for your money. But safety and risk are things that we've come to get comfortable with. And we all have to decide, if there is a God, what role does he play and what level of risk are we supposed to live with and depend on him for safety? I kind of like having some risk in my life. I like giving this world a shot and forcing God to kind of like pull through for us in some ways. To answer the retirement question, the reason why we don't invest in just retirement is because if I'm given $100 or $1,000 or $1 million, I'm asking this question, what is this money for? And very rarely do I think money is just there to make you more money. I think money is like influence. It's like love in a way. You remember that Michael W. Smith song?
She said love is enough. Do you give it away?
Love is only love when you give it away. You know, you can't hang on to it. It doesn't work. Love doesn't work that way. And money is very similar. Like, so if we could take $10 million, we could shove it in a box and say, I'm going to look at that in 30 years. But actually, I'm wondering, like, why do I have it? Who can I be loving right now? And who can I be connecting with? And what can I be learning with?
It's also investing in your future that you don't even know you're going to have, and taking away from investing in the present.
Yes, that's kind of, I think, my problem with it is it's taking away from investing in the present. Thank you guys for your questions. I know money is just a weird thing to talk about. It's weird. We're going out to dinner tonight to celebrate that $39,000 check we got in the business. We're taking Sonny and Crystal out, our friends. He works at that business, and we try and celebrate what we consider God's blessing in our life. But I'm embarrassed to even tell the vlogs sometimes that we spend money on eating out, because I don't know, I just feel like people are going to say, oh, you spend too much eating out, or you guys eat out a lot, or...
We do. So what?
That's kind of how I feel. It's like, we have enough money. We're spending it the best way we know how. I actually can't think of a better way to spend it than to celebrate God's faithfulness and to love friends that we have and our children. So it's like, okay, that's what we're doing. We're going out to eat at a fancy place tonight, and we're going to have fun, and we're going to enjoy it.
Can I tell them that story that your mom told me this morning about the
Okay,
restaurant? Yeah. Ben's mom told me this story today, that when Ben was in high school, I guess, his parents, his family, they took him out to this really nice restaurant. Like, really nice. And his mom told me that I was expecting her to say, oh, he chose the cheapest thing on the menu, because I knew that was something that he did. But he went one step further, and she told me that he went to McDonald's and got food from McDonald's, and I don't know if like he brought it back to the nice restaurant and ate his cheeseburger with the rest of the family. But I thought that was really interesting.
Man, I love this light in here.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thank you for watching. We do not do anything to share these videos with other people. So what we ask for you is, if you are impacted by these videos and if you know someone else that you think would be interested, please consider sending them an email or sharing it with them so that they can join in the fun.